SportG.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you look around, you'll see the world can be pretty smart. Okay, very smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. That's why we're reshaping online learning with our FlexPath format. You can set your own deadlines, take classes at your own pace, even leverage your previous experience to move faster. So when it comes to earning your bachelor's degree, you know what kind of choice to make. A smart one. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to SportG,
the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions.
and now here are your hosts.
It is the Fantasy Hack for Week 9. I'm Chris. With me are JR and Jack. Say hello, fellas.
Yo, everybody.
Hola, amigos.
All right, and we're 4 weeks away from talking about playoffs. It's crazy. Yeah, right. Another good week for me. Back to my winning ways. I went 4-1, lost in my big money league because this past week was a tough week for buys for me. I feel like all of my teams, I was scrambling for. Most of them were on buy. I didn't bring this up in the pre-show chat, but the match where I thought I was going to get pounded against Jack, I ended up winning.
You won.
Yeah, which I had
I don't know what happened.
I had no business winning with who I had starting. But that's fantasy football, right? That's why we play. And not trying to add insult to injury, Jack, but I benched Corey Davis and I dropped DJ Dallas about a half an hour before we started because there was too much uncertainty in Seattle because all of a sudden Travis Homer was questionable and Chris Carson was, and it was a 4:00 game. I don't want to mess with it. I put in LaMichael Pirine or whatever because it's like at least he's going to get the ball, and another example of trust your gut, right? I should have just rolled with the Dallas back.
One thing I've learned is a lot of times when you go Sunday morning, you're making those last minute tweaks. They seem to do more harm than good. You kind of, you line up earlier in the week, and you think you got what you have, and then you try to get cute on game day. Oh, I heard it's going to be windy here.
Yeah.
Thinking about benching Rodgers because I heard there was like 40 miles of winds in Green Bay, and I would put Lamar Jackson in, and he stunk it up against Pittsburgh. Point-wise, anyway.
It would have been just comfortability for me. Like, I would have known I had Jack going, but instead I had to monitor Monday Night Football because if Mike Evans would have had a 38-point game, that'd have been it for me. And there was a lot of people this week. I mean, like, if you had Dalvin Cook this week, good God. There was a lot of people who went off this week. So, I mean.
I lost against Dalvin Cook in my money league. I went 9-2, but I lost in the big money league, and I almost made the miracle comeback of the century, down 17 with only Ryan Suckup, the Buccaneers kicker. He gets 15. One more field goal and I win. And, of course, just fell short. I lost 110-108.
I mean, and I didn't count Jack out of that matchup because Chris Godwin was out. So it was like I imagine that game it would just be like Mike Evans gets the ball a lot. So it was. I did not rest until that game was over. So it was.
So you know what really hacks me about that? I lost 110-108. The other scores in the league, there was a 167-100. That's the only other team I'd have lost to. 88-69, 74-58, and 75-52. And I take the L with a 108. They asked me why I drink.
Yeah.
I want to thank Chase Claypool for that fumble early and for nothing. Like, what happened to Chase Claypool?
He got a touchdown.
He just fell off the mat. Oh, he did get the touchdown at the end, but I'm just upset because if he did not fumble, I would have won. All he had to do was not fumble, and I would have won. I lost by 1 or 2 points. All he had to do was not fumble. I would have at least tied.
And you've had Carson Wentz in a couple leagues. That was what?
I'm done with. I'm so done.
Right there.
I don't even.
What is wrong?
I'm like, he's having a good game, and then I see, he's got 4 picks. Like, come on.
2 picks and 2 fumbles against the worst defense in football.
That's why I have a claim in for Minshew.
I'm a huge Eagles fan, but I am staying away from Carson Wentz the rest of this season.
He's
dead to me from a fantasy standpoint.
But a tough week for generally reliable names, too. Here's what my big money league, here's why I lost. Tyler Lockett, Devontae Parker, Ezekiel Elliott, Adam Thielen. None of those people broke 10 points. None of them. None, not one.
And I'm dying to trade Zeke, but no one's biting, and I guess I got to wait till he has a big week and then try to unload him. But I have a feeling no one wants anything to do with that Dallas offense. It's the train wreck it's a dumpster fire and a train wreck all in one.
What a Tyler Lockett thing to do. Follow up 50-point week with 7.
Yep. And it was the Metcalf week this week.
Yeah.
And last week Metcalf got the dud.
Yeah, and the day the Vikings all go nuts, Adam Thielen's the one that doesn't. It was just it was tough, a tough day for a lot of big names. But
so you'd think I'd be happy going 9-2, but not losing in that money league.
I mean,
I'm out of first place to a guy that scored like 60 points this week because he won his game and I got 108 and lost.
I mean, I got 3 4-4s, 2 3-5s, and because of how crazy this year is, I am not out of it in the 3 and 5 leagues. Like, it is a very competitive league in both of those leagues.
Well, I can still gloat about being undefeated in one league. I mean, no, in the college football names league. I had a net 10-point lead, and the other guy had 4 net, and he only got 6. So I survived 8-0, baby. Of course, there's no money in that league, but play for pride.
I am just upset that George Kittle is not going to be playing for the next 8 weeks. And what happened to the 49ers? Everybody got hurt this year. This is like what happened a couple years ago when they got Bosa in the draft and they were really good next year. Are they doing that again? Is everybody just conveniently getting hurt so they get a high draft pick?
Yeah, right.
What's going on? Starting quarterback, the first 3 starting running backs, starting tight end, Nick Bosa, and half the defense. This is ridiculous.
And if you're a Kittle owner, that's it, right? 8 weeks, that's the rest of the fantasy season. It's over. It's done.
That's just
Unless
painful.
you have a keeper league, you might as well cut bait now because he's done and he's broken foot. And you can pick Jordan Reed up, and he'll probably play 1 or 2 weeks, and then he'll be hurt again. He's the China doll of all time.
Well, with him, it'll be a concussion or his ankle. That's what it always is with Jordan Reed, concussion or ankle.
So, yeah, tough stuff. Yeah, you're never gonna replace a Kittle. That is just a blow to anybody that has him on the roster. There's no replacing him at this point in the season. I'm thankful because in one league I had Andrews on the bench. But you know what? Andrews this year has not been the Andrews of old.
And the other problem with Kittle is when we get to waivers, good luck. The tight end's not known. Known in general for being deep in fantasy, anyways. But there's
Trey Burton. If you're lucky, you might be able to get a Trey Burton.
Yeah. Maybe Robert Tanyan's still floating around out there. Probably not after this week. But it's going to be tough. I mean,
you got the Green Bay Packers running backs all out with COVID now. We thank A.J. Dillon. Don't know what happened there, but apparently he contracted COVID-19, and now Jamal Williams is out on the COVID list. He's not playing, which bums me out because I had picked him up when I saw. Aaron Jones go out, and I don't know, maybe Aaron Jones comes back. I don't think he's ready yet, though. And they have a short week. They play Thursday night. I'm really surprised the NFL hasn't swept them out of the Thursday night game. And it's never too late. It could happen. Maybe there won't be a Thursday game night this week. Maybe they'll move it.
Packers aren't, Aaron isn't the chosen one anymore. If it's Patrick Mahomes, they'd move the game.
You know what? The thing is, I still think they could move the game, but there's no way that they can replace it. You can always, put a replacement game later, but you can't move somebody up to a Thursday game. That's not possible.
Yeah,
this is either going to get canceled or postponed, or if they're just going to play on with whoever's healthy.
Yeah, the Titans messed a lot of shit up earlier. Like the NFL left some wiggle room, but it seems all the wiggle room was used up with that nonsense the Titans put us through a month ago. So is what it is. I mean, as of now, there's still no Week 18. Infections still seem to be spotty, but yeah, it's.
How about the Ravens defense? That's not good.
Oh, is it running through the Ravens D now?
Yep, like half the Ravens defense is COVID, apparently.
Well, I mean, what was it the Redskins O-line, and what was it the week before the Raiders? I mean, it's
just gonna happen. I mean, it's just what you knew was gonna happen.
Practice squads are for, right?
They've had the systems in place, and I mean, to their credit, they have worked.
Yeah, I said if you take away the Tennessee Titans episode, I think the NFL has done I mean, even with the Titans episode, that was obviously the organization failing. I think the NFL as a whole has done a pretty good job with it.
I mean, when teams are at home, they're still going to be around their family, and their kids might be going to school, might bring something back. I mean, there's only so much you can do. You can't tell people they can't be, they're quarantined from their family. I guess that's what they did in hockey with the bubble and the NBA with the bubble. I don't know the answer. All I know is stay tuned, folks. It could get rough the next few weeks.
Well, there's rumors in the NFL for the playoffs there's going to be a bubble.
There's going to be a bubble, yeah, I've heard that.
So, we'll see when we get there. We're still, as far as the NFL season, we still got, this is the halfway point. I believe halftime, actually, this past Sunday would be the technical halfway point. But, there's still a lot of, regular season to play. But
long road to go with the COVID cases that are blowing up nationwide.
Well, the only good byproduct of this is that some players who never would have gotten their name out there have had their chance in the NFL. Look at Fulgham, Marquise Goodwin. He wouldn't have had the chance to opt out. Fulgham would have never seen the field, would have never been discovered. Guys like J.C. Jackson on the Patriots, from the opt-outs from the Patriots defense, they wouldn't have seen the field. So, I mean, that's the only good byproduct of this is some players were able to get their name out there.
Yeah. Fulgham could have been replacing Kenny Galladay, but now he's just going to have to start for the Eagles.
And DiNucci.
Yeah, how about them Cowboys, huh? You as Eagles fans, you guys got to be loving this.
Well, that was still pretty ugly, even with the W. I mean, pretty pathetic effort. Yeah. Really worried about Carson Wentz. I'm dropping him. I have him on a couple teams as a backup, and he's off my roster. He's dead. He's dead to me in fantasy.
You have Jalen Hurts on your team,
fan, but I don't know what happened, but he's lost it. He's a turnover machine. Leads the NFL in turnovers.
You got Jalen Hurts just waiting, just sitting
after
there.
That second interception, I was calling for Hurts. I really was. But anyway, and Jimmy Garoppolo gone, so I guess Nick Mullins is one of the few quarterbacks. Drew Lock might still be out there. That's about it. I mean, are you really going to take a chance on Daniel Jones? I know I'm not.
How many seasons does Jimmy G have to not finish before we officially slap ignorant injury prone onto him?
Yeah, he's not reliable, and even when he's been in, a lot of people think Mullins has played better. So, but there's just the lack of weapons. There's how many running backs have they gone through? 4 or 5 running backs now.
Yep.
Tevin Coleman's hurt again. McKinnon is back healthy, I think, but he's probably going to get hurt. He gets hurt all the time.
You really taking a chance on waivers with Jermichael Hasty?
Jeff Wilson, he came in and had like an unbelievable game and then got hurt at the end, and he's out now. So who are you going to pick up for running backs? Speaking of running backs, the reason I lost in my big money league is because I went with Jonathan Taylor over Phillip Lindsay, which cost me about 15 points. The big 2 points from Jonathan Taylor. Says he's dealing with an ankle injury, but I don't trust the Colts coaching staff. I think that Wilkins scored, Naheem Hines scored twice. I think that they're doing a 3-headed monster there, and that might be something.
Look, they're playing. Just saying.
Yeah.
They were playing. They were playing the Oprah of defenses. You get a touchdown, and you get a touchdown, and you get a. This is the Lions. I mean, it's.
Yeah. speaking of the Lions, why are they going back to Adrian Peterson again? What a Swift.
Where's Swift? I want my points.
He had a couple huge games, and then he was invisible last week.
It's because of who he played. He played the Falcons. He played the Jags. You get a halfway decent defense in there. He's, it's...
At least
Lions,
throw the ball to him.
I just want you to stop proving me right, Lions. That's what I want. Stop proving me right. Just prove me wrong one time.
So who's out there on the waiver wire for running backs?
I got to go with Gus Edwards. 87 yards, a touchdown. That's 29 points.
Well,
Mark Ingram did not play.
Mark Ingram's hurt. That's why. When he comes back, we're back to who knows what. J.K. Dobbins looked pretty good, but Edwards
is underrated, I got to say.
I don't want a Ravens running back. I don't.
I don't, unless one of them's injured. If Mark Ingram's out, give me Gus Edwards on a flex, maybe.
Reading on RotoWire that Mark Ingram, there's a chance he returns this week from his ankle.
Never mind. Forget it.
And that's against the Colts. The Colts have a pretty stellar defense.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
So, no Ravens if you can avoid it. I guess maybe if you're desperate, Gus Edwards or J.K. Dobbins. Jermichael Hasty, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And what happened with the Chargers? All year I had Joshua Kelly, I had some Justin Jackson, and now this guy Pope comes out of nowhere, 15 for 95 Sunday. Yeah. I didn't even heard his name until this week.
Yeah, I did.
Talent show.
Mm-hmm. What about Zach Moss? Are you guys buying it?
Pretty good. Yeah, I am.
I've seen him on some waiver wires.
You could do it first.
I think as far as running backs, we named everyone. I mean, do we even want to? Damian Harris is just part of the. We said no Patriots, right?
I don't know. Damian Harris, he has that 100-yard game once a month that gets you interested, and then he disappears like the Patriots tend to do.
Sounds like Cooper Kupp.
And I'd
Cooper, isn't he? He's either hurt or has COVID. I heard Cooper Kupp might be.
I don't know. I think he might be hurt actually.
And I'd be remiss before moving on from running backs here. What's going on in Seattle? Should we
have an opinion on DJ Dallas?
I mean, he put up. I mean, he'd give you
41 yards, touchdown, 5 for 5 in the air, 17 yards, another touchdown. It's 2 touchdowns on 58 all-purpose yards.
I mean, he had a day.
5 catches. That's great PPR numbers. If he could put up 2 touchdowns, including 5 catches.
But the thing is, I mean, he's definitely as soon as Carlos Hyde or Travis Homer's healthy, that's probably it for DJ Dallas, right? He's a rental.
Tough matchup this week too in Buffalo.
I'm not thrilled with that whole setup until Carson comes back. I think you got a bunch of maybes every week. Not guys that are going to be long-term solutions for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't if you're a guy like me who builds for rest of season, I wouldn't risk any roster spots on DJ Dallas unless you already have Chris Carson or something like that.
He's a bye week fill-in.
Yeah,
if you're desperate, that's all he is.
And then moving on to what next? Receiver.
What? There's one guy I've been putting claims in for this week, and it's only because I'm desperate. It's a bye week fill-in, Marvin Hall. Say what you will. Detroit, tell me what you know about him. Really? Galladay's going to be out.
I mean, I would... my gut would just say Marvin Jones, right? He's the next man up.
Yeah.
Well, he's usually gone in most leagues, I think.
He's got the... yeah. Well, yeah, we're talking about...
Yeah, he's like a 50%er.
He's definitely the better Marvin, but I'm willing to look at let's make a deal for Marvin Hall on waivers. That's desperate, but there's another name to look for that a lot of people are overlooking. That Alan the Lazard King, I think, is coming back this week. He has been practicing, and if the Packers even play because of all this COVID thing, another maybe. If he's still available, he might be on IR in a lot of leagues. Maybe people didn't cut him, but
so RotoWire
also lists Jacoby Myers from New England, team high 10 targets.
It's a Patriot. I want out of the Patriots business this year.
And the Eagles are on the bye, but Jalen Rieger was activated and scored a touchdown, so he might be on your radar. He has the potential. But again, then you got to rely on Carson Wentz as part of that equation for success. So
now I feel like I get a little tweak in my stomach when I bring this name up, but I feel enough's happened where we got to bring this guy up. Corey Davis.
Makes me sick to my stomach.
He's had like a good month.
He's the guy that every time I put him in my lineup, he skunks me. And then when I finally say, okay, he's looking pretty good, I'll put him in. Or if I take him out, then that's the week he has a monster game. And he's another one of those once-a-month guys. He'll give you a big game here and there, but it's like a crapshoot. It's like throwing darts.
Yeah.
That's Corey Davis. He's a dart.
Should we think Curtis Samuel is a thing or what?
Yeah, he looked pretty good on that game. What was that, Thursday night game last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looked all right.
I think he could do a lot worse if he's available. He could take a flyer on him. I mean, we're looking, week 8 waivers. It's bottom of the barrel, folks.
Yeah, and I feel the last 2-3 seasons we seem to have this conversation about this point in the season. Mike Williams, Chargers. Yes, no?
He's another, 50-50 in any given week. He's better than a once-a-monther, but not much. Maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. But he's a good end zone. He's probably touchdown dependent. You're not going to get yards unless he catches a bomb or two.
And then one more sexy name that was thrown around. It was thrown around on the Sunday morning shows, and then it's showing up in waiver wire columns in all formats this week. But the team he's on, yikes. Braxton Berrios.
Yikes.
Is that a superhero name?
Yeah.
Not interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a New York Jet, so there's that.
Oh, nope. Can't do it.
Behind a lot and throwing. Somebody's got to...
Someone's got to be the main receiver for the Jets with Crowder and Perriman injured. I mean, that's
a really bottom of the barrel.
I mean, if you are hurting at wide receiver, I mean hurting, like all your receivers are on bye. Tight end, Dallas Goedert seems to be coming up, but he's going to be on bye. That'd be someone to throw on the bench, but it's for waivers. He's available. And again, I brought it up earlier. Tight end, super thin. I mean, if
Jordan Reed, and I'm also getting the name Ross Dwelly, 49 tight end.
Yep, 49er.
Yeah, Tanyan showing up again because he had himself a week. So I mean, he's available. That's why his name comes up.
I've been seeing Logan Thomas on waiver wires for a few weeks. I mean, I know he was on a bye last week. I mean, he had a touchdown in week 6 and 7, but he was playing the Giants and the Cowboys. But it seems he has emerged as the starting tight end in Washington.
Yeah, but then you have to roster a Redskin.
Yeah.
Did Myles Gaskin get hurt?
Yep. That's why the Dolphins made that trade today.
Who did they trade for?
It wasn't a big name, but it was a running back.
Yeah, it was like a conditional 6 for some running back. But what a weak trade deadline! Like there was one trade all day. Like come on. And there was a deal in place that would have sent Will Fuller to the Packers, but the Texans did not pull the trigger.
Yeah, because they need a receiver. Well, one more receiver. You forget about Randall Cobb. Is he worth picking up?
No.
Yeah.
Not happening.
And he's been showing up. Just because, again, you get to this point in the season with waivers, it's because just they're available. That's why. But that's...
There is nobody on this waiver wire.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. There it is. This is the ultimate random touchdown of the week. No-name player. Albert Akwugbunum?
Oh.
Akwugbunum.
I remember watching it on Red Zone and hearing the announcers trying to sound it out.
Oh, my God. No, don't pick him up. 1 target, 1 catch, 9 yards, touchdown. Don't you think about picking him up.
No, in that offense, you own Noah Fant. End of list. If you're owning a tight end.
Oh, man.
Aaron Jones, game time decision. Tyler Irvin and practice squad member Dexter Williams are the only running backs available other than him.
Yeah, I saw Tyler Irvin on the waiver wire.
He's
He's top 5 in ads this week on Yahoo.
I wonder if the injury to Gaskin will put Jordan Howard back in play.
Well, I mean, they paid him all that money.
Yeah, maybe it's time he earns it. So that might be something to look at.
Yeah, as far as a waiver, I mean, that's it. It's pretty shallow waivers this week.
Hopefully you stocked up on players on your roster to cover your buys because there's not much out there. It really is pretty thin.
I mean, for me personally, quite honestly, this is about the time of year where I stop really making a lot of moves. I mean, I have everyone in place, so you make the occasional pickup here or there, and of course, if injuries happen. But at this point, I'm done making tons of moves every week. It's what it's going to be by this point. But that's me. That's how I play. It's just the trend I've noticed in myself, 10 plus years of doing this.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to 50.
Pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
So, shall we preview the games?
Yes.
So, Thursday night, yeah.
Just though, if it happens.
Yeah?
If it happens. Stay tuned, folks. I think it will, but Green Bay is got the COVID. Watch out for the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's already taken over the running backs. So you got Aaron Rodgers. You're going to start him.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye on Aaron Jones. He possibly could come back this week. He might have to. Otherwise, you're looking at Tyler Irvin probably as a Hail Mary desperate replacement.
As everyone around the world goes, who?
Maybe if you're desperate, the Onion, and of course Devontae Adams is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And up for Alan Lazard again, he might be back. So a lot of question marks in that game. Will Lazard play? Will they play the game at all? And if so, will Lazard play? And will Aaron Jones play? Those are going to be some huge decisions that will impact your lineups.
And now without Kittle, is there a 49er you're even...
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I really don't. Maybe Jordan Reed if he's healthy, but I want nothing to do with it. I mean, you got a quarterback placed. You got a whole bunch of backup running backs.
I mean, Ayuk, if you're hurting, and he's not someone you'd keep on your roster because as soon as Deebo Samuel comes back, he loses his job. So it's... Yeah, give me no part of the 49ers offense.
49ers are approaching dumpster fire fantasy status, really. I mean, it's a shame because they had high hopes going into the season. But there's just not a lot to like right now.
Yeah.
Denver and Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm back on the Matt Ryan bandwagon. I still think he produces fantasy numbers. He may not be, if you're a Falcons fan, you might not be that happy with him. But honestly, I mean, for where he was drafted, he's a pretty solid producer.
He's
a quarterback.
I get rid of him just because he was inconsistent. 30 points one week, 7 the next.
I think he's had more stud performances than dud performances, but I'd start him in Atlanta in the Dome against Denver. Formidable defense, but Denver's on the road. Brian plays pretty good in the indoors.
Is Ridley healthy?
No, I don't believe so.
I think he's hurt.
I think he's out, so that probably bumps up Julio a little bit.
It's all Julio all day.
You could maybe, if you're desperate, what's the other wide receiver?
Russell Gage.
With no Ridley, that might give him a few more targets. And then anybody else?
No.
I guess maybe if you have Gurley on your roster, he might be probably flex territory, low running back to flex territory for him.
Yeah. And if you're starting Hayden Hurst, you're in a world of hurt anyway. How's your 1-7 team doing?
Hurst is a bye week, and he's a backup tight end for you. If you got nobody better, you can roll with that. Denver, I'm really getting. I've got Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay in my big money league, and this is one of those ones that drives you nuts. You start Gordon, and Lindsay has a big day. Start Lindsay, Gordon will have a big day. I'm beginning to see Lindsay making more out of his touches. But I don't know if the Broncos will sit a name like Gordon either. So I think you're going to have the 200 monster there, and I even thought of playing both of them.
I just love Lindsay's story. Wasn't he a guy that he walked in off the street?
Yep.
Yeah, he does make the best of his opportunities, and he does look better than Gordon. And I had Gordon in the lineup last week, and I was kicking myself. And that's why I might put both of those guys in, because Denver's not a big passing team. They did get that winning touchdown to Hamler last week. KJ Hamler, probably not somebody that you
as far as that would fall into the category of thanks for nothing. Nobody had him or started him.
Yep. And I think the time when we were watching the game, you're like, well, he's not hurting me anywhere. That's a good. I'm glad that scored.
The only person catching the ball in Denver I want any part of is Noah Fant.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Everybody else, no thank you. No Tim Patrick.
Beginning of the year, I was really high on Jerry Jeudy, but it's not happening.
Yeah, he's not in Alabama anymore. What's next here? Lions and Vikings. I mean, on Detroit. Is this now an offense you don't want any part of with no Kenny Galladay?
I'm not sure what happened. We lost.
Oh yeah, sounds like.
I'm back. Poor network connection. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you were still there. I think we lost Jack for a second.
I'm here.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I was back. I need my controller. If I don't touch the controller for a while, it dies, and I have to turn it on again. Because I do this on my Xbox headphones.
Mine said poor network connection, so maybe we had a blip here.
Yeah.
Well, right. I guess you can edit.
That's only fitting talking about the Lions game. I was saying, is there any Lion we want a part of now that there's no Kenny Galladay?
Swift even worth? Or are they now back to the Adrian Peterson? You got to think that, you got to develop Swift. What's the benefit to playing AP? Unless he's just that much better.
Exactly.
I mean, watch the games. What do you see? Swift, is it really what you said? With a crap defense, Swift is good, but throw him up against the defense and AP outperforms him?
As long as he's running behind the Detroit Lions defensive line, he's going to have problems. Or offensive line. I think AP is succeeding simply because of his size. He is, AP is AP. He's a big, solid dude. He's not, so I am not the guy to ask about the Lions. I'm the eternal pessimist. I've been let down too many times at this point. If you're not going to give Swift, people to create lanes for him, I mean, he's just going to get creamed every time.
How bad do you think the loss of Galladay is going to affect Stafford? You think the other guys can step up?
A lot. I think it's going to be if you own Marvin Jones, start him. But I mean, it's
no Marvin Hall.
Marvin Hall.
Like I go with my previous sentiment. We're starting to talk about. I don't think there's any part of the Lions' offense I'm starting.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Even with maybe Stafford, but he doesn't have his main pass catcher. So I mean, he's got Hawkinson, but Hawkinson seems to be touchdown dependent.
I'll tell you what, I'm starting Stafford over Kirk Cousins, though.
Yeah.
But Dalvin Cook certainly opened things up for Cousins. What a day he had. What is it, about 200 yards?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, Dalvin. I'm sure your owners are elated to have you back.
3 touchdowns. Oh, yeah.
That was quite the return.
He scored enough touchdowns to make up for the week he sat out. And it was a great day Justin Jefferson, my fantasy oops for the year. I had him in a couple teams and dropped him because I was impatient waiting for him to produce. If I'd have waited one more week. But Thielen, ignore the 5-point game from Thielen. He'll just start Adam Thielen because that's what you do. Quote Matthew Berry, don't get cute.
Yeah, start Jefferson and start Thielen. I'm starting Jefferson.
Yep.
All day long against that Detroit secondary. Not the same since Slay left.
Yeah, and then, of course, you want no Minnesota tight ends.
Nope. That's it.
Yeah.
Thielen, Jefferson, and you don't want Kirk Cousins. You don't want tight ends. And Dalvin Cook, of course.
Seahawks, Bills.
This is going to be a good game.
Yeah, shootout alert.
Yeah, so who's it going to be this week? Metcalf or Lockett?
Right. Well, Russell this may be a ground game day because they're playing the Bills defense.
Buffalo. This is not the time of the year you want to be playing outside in Buffalo.
Yeah. So this may be a Chris Carson / Travis Homer / Carlos Hyde / DJ Dallas day, whoever ends up playing. Like, that just brings, right now I want no part of the Seattle backfield. There's just too much uncertainty going on.
Agreed. You want Russell? And you want the 2 receivers, Lockett and Met. That's
no tight ends.
Nope.
And then the Bills. I think this is the game where Josh Allen gets right. He's last 3 weeks not his greatest performances, but the one knock against Seattle this year is their defense. You can throw against the Seattle defense, and Josh Allen can throw. So you're starting Josh Allen. You're starting Stephon Diggs. I don't want any part of the Bills' backfield. I know we said Zach Moss and waivers. Devin Singletary not been the greatest this year, so give me no Bills running backs.
Yeah, and really, do you want anybody other than Diggs as a pass catcher?
No. Don't be seduced by the fantasy analyst that'll tell you to pick up Smokey John Brown. It never works.
I was going to bring his name up, but I just thought he's not even worthy.
Yeah. And then, that's anything. Anybody else in that game we're starting? Did we miss any names?
I don't believe so.
Bears, Titans.
The Bears just keep finding ways to win.
If you would have told me at the beginning of the season this would be a good game, I would have laughed.
Right?
What about Tennessee losing to Cincinnati? Whoa.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Didn't see that one coming. They were 5-0, and now they've lost 2 weeks in a row. I think
that just proves my point that the Bengals' offense is just gambling because you have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, Tennessee needs a win. I think this is a week they're going to beat Chicago. I think, I said Derrick Henry. He usually gets his 100 yards, but Chicago's got a pretty stellar run defense. We'll see what happens there, but you got to start Derrick Henry, obviously.
Yeah.
Tannehill hasn't been. He had a lackluster performance against the Bengals, but you're probably starting him. Maybe depending on your other quarterback.
Starting him, you're starting A.J. Brown.
You're not starting Corey Davis unless you're really desperate.
Yeah, and if you are, it's a flex, people. Jonnu Smith, I mean, he's...
A.J. Brown, though. A.J. Brown.
Jonnu Smith isn't lighting the world up like he did at the beginning of the season, but he's still putting up respectable numbers. But if you got a better tight end, go for
it. The tight end pool is so thin right now that Jonnu Smith's probably middle of, like 6th or 7th ranked tight end.
Yeah.
Look at Jared Cook.
Hurts. It's ugly. It's ugly out there.
And then let's talk the Bears side of the ball.
Bears.
David Montgomery. Ugh.
No. Yeah, no.
God, I'm glad I don't have him.
Can't do it.
No Montgomery. No Allen Robinson.
Right. Allen Robinson is a viable starter.
He's a flex for me. Like, this is another offense. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, you're not starting Nick Foles. Only start Foles when he plays against Brady.
Or he has injured players as his supporting cast.
Yeah. And Ravens and the Colts, both with the same record, like it's 2010. Both with winning records. What's going on with Lamar, man?
Lamar's back down to earth, man.
What was it, four turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are all of a sudden an offense I want no part of fantasy-wise. I mean, Lamar, obviously, you're still starting him. I mean, he's still putting up respectable fantasy numbers, but you're definitely not getting the Lamar you had last year. Last year, he was winning
What's
your
going on with
league.
Mark Andrews?
Yeah, he's been a disappointment.
Yeah, 3 catches last week, like no touchdowns.
Well, and then they're spreading it around to the Boyle, and I think there's a third tight end in that mix. And Andrews was the clear number one, and this year it seems like it's all over the board. Lamar hasn't been as effective passing the ball this year. He's getting most of his points with his legs. He did have all those turnovers last week, but that's against the Steelers, and that's in the sleet and snow, slippery weather. This game will be indoors at Indianapolis, but Indianapolis has a pretty good defense, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens here. I agree with you. I don't want any part of Dobbins. I don't want any part of Gus Edwards. I mean, those are like really desperate plays if you have to, especially against that Indy defense. And, what are you going to do? Indianapolis is turning into, a three-headed monster there, too, for running game. The aforementioned Jonathan Taylor, I think, tweaked his ankle. You got Hines, scored twice last week.
But it was his first touchdown since week 1. That's what before everyone jumps and wants to pick him up.
Wilkins, Hines, I can't start any of those 3 guys.
No.
Taylor this week.
Like, this is almost one game where I would say you don't start anybody. But you still start Lamar.
Baltimore defense, though, because if half the defense is out with COVID, that might change things. But you don't even know which one of those guys to start. So, yeah, look elsewhere if at all possible. But I will say there is one player that's worthy of starting other than Lamar Jackson, Justin Tucker. Indoors.
Yeah.
In Indianapolis. Man, that guy is just a machine. He can hit from anywhere up to 60 yards, and he's just as reliable as they come. So it's pretty bad when we're talking about a kicker in this game.
Panthers Chiefs. CMC, please come back. Please be this week.
I think he is, because I have Mike Davis in a bunch of leagues, and it said he's predicted to get like 2 points. So I think the party's over, Mike Davis owners.
Oh, thank God.
CMC's back, and I'm sure CMC owners are delighted to have him back after sitting on him this long.
One victory since I lost him. One. Let's go. Come on.
DJ Moore. I'm starting him, but he's probably a wide receiver too.
And Robbie Anderson, we start singing his praises, and he's been very lackluster since we started singing his praises. What's going on, Robbie?
Come on, Robbie. I spoke very highly of him. He was doing pretty good. He was like top 5 in the league in receiving yards. He was consistent.
I started him like 2 weeks in a row and gotten under 10 points each week. Come on, man.
Teddy Bridgewater took quite a hit the other night. Glad to see he's okay. That looked pretty ugly when it happened.
Yeah. And no tight ends, right? And at least not on Carolina.
On Kansas City, though, you're starting Kelsey. What are we going to do at the Kansas City running back position? It looked like Edwards-Helaire was de-emphasized. Looks like Le'Veon Bell's getting some play there.
I think that might have been simply that was
Against
revenge
the Jets?
game. Yeah, here's your
We're
old
gonna have
team.
to-
Let's
I
run it
have
down
Bell
my
in
throat.
one league. I have to play him this week. I have so many buys that he's going to be in my lineup. So I don't know if you can depend on that. Keep your eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Bell, I would keep him on your bench till you see something more.
And then the only other receiver is Cheetah because it's what didn't Mecole Hardman and then someone else like some other no name have a touchdown.
I think it was Robinson.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Mahomes got 400 yards. One of my bold predictions.
That's bold.
Yep, I got them all here. We'll wait to the end for those.
Then,
Had some success this week, though.
yeah. Let's see. Yuck. Ugh. You know exactly what game I'm about to say.
Have to win.
The Giants and the Redskins. Or no, I'm sorry, the football team. Oops.
Football team.
Do you? This is like nobody, right? You don't start anybody in this game.
Just like
Maybe McLaurin.
Yeah.
Maybe Darius Slayton.
That should be his new nickname. Maybe McLaurin.
Maybe McLaurin and maybe Slayton. That's it.
Yeah, what an ugly game. Just looking at it.
Maybe defense though. They have a pretty good pass rush against the Daniel Jones. Looked like deer in the headlights at times.
Oh, speaking of ugly games, the Texans and the Jaguars combined 2 wins between both teams in Week 9.
I think Houston's got some possibilities there. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you start him. He's still doing his thing. David Johnson, while has not been the David Johnson rookie sensation that he was, has been putting up respectable numbers.
Well, he's a volume guy. That's it.
Yeah.
Fuller. Be interesting to see if Fuller's just pissed off that they almost traded him, or he's probably pissed off he wasn't traded.
All I got to say is I had a ton of Will Fuller at the beginning of the season, and I dropped him, and I'm not mad. He's no longer on any team I had. He was on a lot of the teams I had Deshaun Watson on, and I am not regretting just the performance he's put up since I've dropped him. I'm not having any remorse. So I mean that's just my 2 cents on Will Fuller. I'm not going, oh no, what did I? I'm not feeling like I do with Justin Jefferson. Put it that way. I'm not like, what have I done? Why did I do that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to having James Robinson back in my lineup for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I missed him.
He's been quietly a very pleasant surprise that I really missed in my lineup last week. Probably would have won with him. Instead of probably had Taylor on the bench, but happy to have him back. I'm not sure who else you start here. I guess maybe take a shot at Chark. Chark into flex.
Chark has been wildly disappointing this year.
Yeah.
And then, Keelan Cole keeps coming up, but he seems to be touchdown dependent.
And even Minshew's all over the place.
Well, he's hurt. He's got a
that's right. He's got
a bum thumb.
That's probably not going to help Chark any.
Yeah.
But James Robinson's probably your one reliable starter for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And Chark if you really have to.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Se siente bien saber que cuando le pones sirope a tu Big Breakfast with Hotcakes de McDonald's, tú controlas dónde cae. Verlo acercarse a tu biscuit y rodear tu salchicha calientita, y luego llegar a tus hash browns, y finalmente a tus huevos revueltos, dándoles el sabor dulce del maple, exactamente como te gusta. Que fluya el sirope. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Se siente bien saber que cuando le pones sirope a tu Big Breakfast with Hotcakes de McDonald's, tú controlas dónde cae. Verlo acercarse a tu biscuit y rodear tu salchicha calientita, y luego llegar a tus hash browns, y finalmente a tus huevos revueltos, dándoles el sabor dulce del maple exactamente como te gusta. Que fluya el sirope. Para pa pa pa.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Raiders Chargers. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Not really a limb, because if you have Justin Herbert at this point, he's set it and forget it, right? Just if you have him, you're starting him.
Well, I have him as backup in a lot of leagues, so I'm not going to start him over like an Aaron Rodgers in most weeks. But I look at the matchups. I do have him starting in multiple leagues this week. So yeah, I'm a big believer. Every time you think, well, this is just a one-hit wonder, it seems like every week he's getting 300 yards and a couple scores.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably in the top 10 quarterbacks for sure this year.
He's going to be Rookie of the Year, right? Like, who else? I mean, who else was even challenging him?
If he stays healthy, I think he's a shoo-in for that.
Yeah.
What do you do with that Chargers running attack, though? The Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, and now you got that Pope guy.
You stay away.
Yeah.
Afraid
so.
You're with the Lions, the Patriots. You're in that category there, Chargers. Sorry.
Mike Williams is a maybe. Keenan Allen's probably a start. That's probably a wide receiver, one or two.
Keenan Allen's starting to look like the Keenan Allen of old this season because he's got a competent quarterback.
I agree.
Sorry, Philip, but just your time in Sandy, or not Sandy, or whatever. Your time with the Chargers has, it was over. And then Hunter Henry, if you got him at tight end, you're starting him.
Yep.
The Raiders, the usual suspects, right? Your Josh Jacobs, your Darren Waller, and then is Carr a starter yet, or is he still bye-week filling?
Bye-week replacement if you're desperate. He's probably still available on waivers in about half the leagues. But yeah, if you're starting him, you're desperate.
Raiders pass catchers.
Bye.
What do you do?
You got Ruggs, you got Aguilar. I'm kind of sold on Ruggs, but Ruggs is one of those burners that's he needs to catch a long one every game, or you're going to get a dud out of him.
Yeah.
Aguilar, I don't know what to say about him. He continues to produce, but I think he had a pretty disappointing game last week. I picked him up on waivers, but I didn't start him, and then I think he put up a goose egg, didn't he? Jack, can you look that up?
I'm looking at it right now.
Aguilar. So, but just the fact that we're
Nelson Aguilar game log week 7. No, he didn't. Week 8, he got 2 targets, nothing.
There you go.
2 targets, nothing. Didn't catch a ball.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah. I really went from 100 yards and a touchdown to 2 targets, no catches.
What about Ruggs?
Let's see.
Ruggs, but I also know that he's not going to be consistent.
Henry Ruggs, 1 rush yard, 4 targets, 2 catches, 8 yards. Let down.
All right.
And he played the Browns.
I guess we're going to go back to Jacobs and Waller.
Yeah. Steelers and Cowboys. Who would have thought halfway through the NFL season we'd be talking about the best team in the league are the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers? No, fans of Pittsburgh probably. But, I mean, I didn't see this coming, so it's a Steelers.
James Conner's licking his chops this week.
Yeah, but
you might even put Jalen Samuel in. He might get some garbage time in this one.
But let's talk about a receiving core that's confusing. Who do you start receiver-wise for Pittsburgh?
Gosh, Deontay Johnson. I'm still not sold on Smith-Schuster, although against Dallas, you're probably starting these guys.
The most consistent pass catcher fantasy-wise seems to be Chase Claypool. I mean,
this is all hands on deck. Start everyone.
Do you start Ebron?
I'd even start Ebron. I mean, Dallas can't stop anybody. I mean, the Eagles didn't play very well. That's because Wentz turned the ball over 4 times. That should have been a lot bigger margin of victory. I think the Steelers are going to steamroll.
I think you definitely start the Steelers defense.
Are you starting any Cowboys? I don't know what to do with Zeke Elliott. I don't think I can start him this week against that Pittsburgh D. He's all they got. They're going to stack the box.
But I think you have to because it's Zeke.
I'm not. I'm not starting him this week. This will be the first week. I can't start him. He hasn't been since they lost Dak. He hasn't had a 100-yard game.
I agree with you. I mean, but it's like there's.
Hey, I'll trade him for a 6-pack of Budweiser right now.
Wow, bold prediction starting early.
I'd do anything to dump him now.
Amari Cooper's kind of sat on my bench since Dax went down, so I mean, I get what you're saying. Dolphins Cardinals, the 4-3 Miami Dolphins.
Two a time
indeed.
Does he get credit for that victory, or does the defense get credit for that victory? He technically was the quarterback and led the offense.
That's like crediting Carson Wentz for the Eagles' victory over the Cowboys.
You know, it's when you have that first game, he's got one under his belt now. Now he'll be settling down from here. He'll be better, but I don't know. This could be a better, interesting game, better game than you think it would be. After Arizona beat Seattle, I think they've got a pretty good team. But Miami's looked pretty good against the Rams, didn't they? That Miami defense really held the Rams in check. I don't know what to expect here. I don't know what to expect.
The only Dolphin I'm starting is Devontae Parker.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know who the running back is. Gaskins is hurt. Is it going to be Jordan Howard? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Devontae Parker. I'm tired of saying Mike Gesicki's name. If you're desperate, but on the Miami side of the ball, I mean, that's it for now.
I got to start Tua in a league unless I pick up another quarterback because I picked him up before he came back, and my other quarterback's on a bye, so I got to start Tua unless I pick up somebody. I'll be looking hard at the waiver wire because I don't know if I can trust him this early. But if he starts running.
Cardinals, though, when's the last time you could rattle off 3 Cardinals players with confidence? Kyler, D-Hop, Chase Edmonds. You are starting those gentlemen.
Yeah, well, I think I told you I made a pretty bold trade. I traded Nick Chubb, who will probably be back in a couple weeks. I traded him for Edmonds, and he may look like a head scratcher, but I am 100% convinced that Edmonds, if he stays healthy, will not cede that job back to Drake. He has outplayed Drake all season long. The Cardinals, I think, felt like obligated to play Drake, but now that he's hurt, this is going to be a Wally Pipp situation where Edmonds is going to come in and he's not going to lose that job. I'm convinced. I really like what I see out of Edmonds.
You sound like Matthew Berry. He's saying that job is Chase Edmonds to lose.
I totally agree. Looking forward to that. D-Hop, hey, they're coming off a bye. They should be rested and ready for Miami.
D-Hop should be licking his chops against this Miami defense. They're not good against the pass. Let's see, and then the Sunday night game. The 2 old men duking it out.
AARP game.
Yeah. Yep. TB12 and Drew Brees. And
speaking of grumpy old men, did you see Brady on the sideline against the Giants? Boy, he was like throwing helmets, and he was definitely a grumpy old man during that Giants game.
Yeah, because they should have housed him.
Oh, they should have, but I've never seen him that discouraged when, they won the game. He got the dub.
But I mean, halfway through the season, I mean, the debate was always, is it Tom or is it the system? Again, I said it last week. I'll say it again this week that Tom 5-2, the system 2-5. So I mean, is what it is. I mean, but is Brady now must-start territory if you got him on fantasy?
I think so.
You're starting Brady. Is Gronk must-start yet?
I think so.
Now, pass catchers. It's going to get really tricky because besides, is Godwin going to be back?
Is possibly coming back from that finger injury.
And there's this guy that's Tom Brady's roommate that just got picked up.
You got AB, you got Scotty Miller, you got Evans.
This
speed.
This may turn into, in a couple weeks from now, like you don't want any of the pass catchers because it might turn into like, who's it going to be this week?
Well, my gut feeling is that Evans would be the one I would start first, but the X factor is AB. You just have no idea what you're going to get.
And apparently he showed up in shape and ready to go and impressed his teammates. So,
well, it's going to be quite a show on Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one worth staying up for.
Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees, probably.
Probably talk about the Saints side of the ball. Is Michael Thomas ever coming back?
Yeah, I'm really surprised he didn't get traded. I thought he had worn out his welcome and the Saints would have traded him for the best offer they could get, but he's still on the roster. So you got to think he's coming back soon.
Jared Cook showed signs of life last week. Are we starting him or?
Yeah, I think tight end position's getting thin, so he's probably a viable start. If he's on your roster, you may have to play him.
And then Monday night, what a turd matchup.
Oh.
Now, in 2010, this is must-see TV. However, in 2020, this is must-miss TV. The Pats and the Jets.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cam Newton might be a good start this week. I think he's really upset. He fumbled the game away when they were in field goal range against the Bills. They had that, at the very least, they had the tying points on the board. They were deep in Jets territory, or not Jets, Bills territory. And he fumbled the ball, and I mean, we saw what the Chiefs did to that Jets. And New England isn't nearly as talented as the Chiefs, but they're still probably leagues ahead of the Jets. The Jets, I think, are tanking for Trevor. I think there's very minimal possibility of them even being close to winning a game this season. That's how bad things are. Who was it that said Clemson could beat the Jets? I think it was Trevor. Well, I think it was a fake quote attributed to Trevor Lawrence. I think it was just a meme going around. I don't think Trevor Lawrence was actually said that himself, but I think a lot of people actually believe that Clemson might beat the Jets. So, I'm not starting any Jets. I don't think anybody's starting any Jets. I think we talked about some Hail Mary waiver wire picks, Braxton Berrios. God bless you if you have to go there. The only saving grace there is they will probably be playing catch up all night and have to throw the ball. But Stephon Gilmore is still a Patriot. Last I checked. So good luck with that.
I mean, I'll say what I say every week. It seems to be with nobody except James White and PPR, and that's a flex maybe.
I think this could be a week for Damian Harris just because it's the Jets. Belichick will probably just want to run the ball and run the clock down and get out of there with as few injuries as possible. So you might want to consider Damian Harris, maybe James White. I don't know what's up with Edelman.
He's on IR.
Edelman's hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't foresee any other Patriots then.
So yeah, and that's this week's slate.
Cam worth a start?
No.
Even against the Jets?
He's a half a season in. The first half of September was good to Cam. That was about it. He's got to show me more for me to tell.
Well, if you're going to start him, this is the week. But
I feel like it's fantasy football malpractice if I tell you to start Cam Newton.
Yeah.
At least at this point in the season.
So your bye week teams are the Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Rams, and Philadelphia Eagles. And that's about a wrap for week 9 coming up.
Yeah. So bold predictions. How'd those go?
Bold predictions.
All right. So I got Chris picked Miami over the Rams. Very good.
Two a time.
I picked Atlanta over Carolina. And also, I picked Baltimore over Pittsburgh, which, remember, we said, Baltimore's a favorite. You can't pick that one. That didn't come through, but I did get Atlanta over Carolina, and we almost went a 3 for 3. Jack had the Bears over New Orleans, and that late overtime.
Thanks a lot, Will Lutz.
Pretty respectable, though. Chris got it right with Mahomes 400 yards over the Jets. I think I blew it when I said Kenny Golladay would get 100 yards versus the Colts. With that being said, he left with an injury, so I got a little bit of an excuse. And then Jack had 2 touchdowns for Le'Veon Bell. That didn't happen. Also, I came within, 22 yards of No Shave November. I was going to grow a full beard for the month. If Travis Fulgham got 100 yards for the Eagles, he's finished with 78 yards. So I shaved. But it was fun when we were watching the game. Jack was rooting for Fulgham. He wanted to see.
Yes, I was.
And I had about a 3-day growth on, too, so I had a good head start on it. But I shaved the next day. Fulgham got 78. And that's about it. So now I guess we got to go to this week's bold predictions. Let me get my pen and paper here to document. Chris, you always go first. You want to go first again, or are you going to say, I don't want to go first this week?
I'm going Bills over the Seahawks. You can throw against Seattle.
Well, I don't know if Buffalo's strength is throwing, but we'll see what Josh Allen has in store. Hey, take a quick look here. Jack, do you have anything picked out?
I want to pick the Jets, but
no.
I only want to pick the Jets just because if I get it right, I'll be, a god. But if I don't get it right, nobody will care because they're the Jets. That being said, they're not the biggest upset this week. The biggest upset would be the Panthers over the Chiefs. But I'm not going to pick that.
Over Pittsburgh, that would be the biggest upset.
Oh man, what's the spread on that? Yep, that is the biggest upset of the week. Steelers favored 13.5.
Yeah, I'm not looking at that. So what's it going to be, Jack?
It's tough. The games are close this year.
You got some Jeopardy music you can play for us?
Right.
You can go. Hey, you can go. Go ahead.
I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off a bye at home.
Good pick.
4-point underdogs to the Houston Texans.
A good pick.
Which is a pretty bold being that Minshew's out, but
yep.
That's why they're 4-point underdogs. I think it's going to be the James Robinson show, but we'll see. It's up to you now, Jack.
The Chicago Bears, they're the Tennessee Titans. They implode. 2 losses in a row to minuscule opponents.
Wow.
Tennessee, 3-game losing streak if that comes through. Any personal picks?
And no one picked Drew Brees to beat the GOAT. That was my backup.
That's not a bad one, but no, you didn't go there.
Let's see. Individual.
Well, while you're pondering, I will pick Chase Edmonds to get 100 yards for the Arizona Cardinals against a formidable Miami defense.
I'm going to keep riding my bold prediction. Josh Allen throws for 300 against Seattle.
Okay, Jack?
I'm looking at the games. There's some close games this week. They're all favored. Well, you know what? Give me Ruggs 100 yards. That's bold considering he sucked last week.
Okay. So we got Chris with Buffalo over Seattle and Josh Allen to throw for 300-plus yards. JR Jacksonville over Houston. And in the Arizona game, Chase Edmonds is going to get 100 yards against the Miami Dolphins. And Jack says the Bears over the Titans with Henry Ruggs getting 100 yards or more for the Las Vegas Raiders. There you have it. Bold predictions. Last week was pretty good. 2-1.
Yeah, people are going to start to think we know what we're doing.
Yeah, well. Half-ass predictions from half-ass guys, right?
Yeah, right.
That's what it is,
Yes.
And on any Sunday.
Yep, that's my matchup with Jack this past week. Perfect example of any given Sunday. That's why we play the game. Sometimes things just happen. And we thank you for listening. We're at the Fantasy Hack on Twitter. You can email the Fantasy Hack at ChristopherMedia.net. If you got questions for us on Sunday, ask us. We're on there. We're hanging out. We're posting stuff. We're trying to keep you informed as well as we can, as much as we want. Go to ChristopherMedia.net. Click on the Amazon banner while you're doing on your Christmas shopping. You can help us out without adding any extra onto your bill. Or if you're just in the giving mood and want to give us a couple bucks, hit the PayPal banner. You can also subscribe using that as well. And then where do you listen to us? Everywhere. That's the short answer. We're on all the big platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. Also Amazon now in the podcast game. You can find us on Amazon Music as well. Audible doing podcasts now. You can find us there. to the iHeartRadio app, Christopher Media, wherever you listen to your podcasts, we are there. So set your lineups. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, and check us out at Beer Nuts Podcast. This week we'll be doing breakfast beers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So good luck this week, and we'll be back at you next week. Adios, amigos.
Adiós.
Si tú y tus amigos ordenan de McDonald's juntos, deja que los demás agarren su comida primero. Yo sé, el solo pensar en el olor de las papitas y tener que esperar para meter tu mano en la caja y sacar unas suena loco. Pero por regla, si eres la última persona que sostiene la bolsa, entonces las papitas que se cayeron al fondo de la bolsa son tuyas. La paciencia paga, amigos. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.